What's up, guys? How we doing tonight? Don't get me wrong, I love this song, but it is a 4.5 minute song, so on a Friday night, I wasn't gonna wait 4 minutes and a half. As you said, Justin, everyone was at the live event, so we got a small crowd tonight. And anyways, on Friday nights, you don't see a lot of people in here, but I'm still very glad to be here. Glad to see it. Lucky, it is one of the first times I see you, I believe. So welcome, first of all. And I am doing great as well, Justin. Thank you. Basically, you guys got to understand that even if there's no one in here, I'm still going to come here. Right? Because first of all, I'm recording these for YouTube as a way to also bring more marketing in and possibly bring more people to this community, but also because that's my journal. I don't need to journal because I do complete reviews. So, well, I do still journal, but purely psychologically. So, all I do is do these reviews, and then in 10 years, I can look back and hear myself review the markets. And that, just the thought of that is crazy to me. Really, really crazy. So, definitely something that you can take my word for. I will always be present here no matter the day. If it's a high probability trading date, there is a price action review. Also, since it is a Friday, don't hold back your questions, right? We got time. This is going to take a second, right? And as we said, well, we did look at the we were live today. And it's actually very nice that we were live because as I stated earlier, I was looking for longs out of this gap, right? Still the same bias I've had for the last week or two, right? I was looking, well, first for a retracement into this range, right? Let me just mark this out correctly. I'm always drawing it the wrong way. So retracement into this range, and more specifically this big range. And my discount and efficiency is this order block all the way down here. If you look at the first discount and efficiency, how I view price, how I utilize price, my first discount and efficiency is the daily order block all the way down here. Now, if we go down to the 4 hour, right, there is also a 4 hour fair value gap, which was reached early in the week and we invalidated. So, all that to say, that bias for me was long right after we took out this low, which we saw the reaction early on in the day off of this. We're going to get into it. But to me, there was opportunities. If we look at long opportunities precisely, if we look purely at the 4 hour and we understand that this is the 10 a.m. and the 2 p.m. candle, right? So what do you know? This candle is my pre-market. So this candle starts at 10 a.m. So this showcases my day, and this showcases the pre-market. I believe it's 6 to 10 a.m. candle, right? So at this point in time, I'm going to be referring to this range. I just wanted to be precise as to why this is my range. And as I said, because at this point in time, if I go into replay mode, maybe to better visualize, at this point in time, this is what I see. And this candle is not even fully developed at this point, right? And what do I have present? Well, we are within a daily bullish point of interest, but it is long term. So I don't refer to these PD arrays as something very precise. Pretty much, it is a very old fair value gap, and the recent price action is gonna dictate a lot more to me than the older price action. But based on the older price action, I am looking for longs in this area. And what do we see? Well, we just took out the lows. Basically, we just took out sell side liquidity, right? So we just took out some relative equal lows right here, almost equal lows, and some lows. And if we look at, yes, there was SMT at this point in time, but now we have aligned and it, am I? Yes. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that I was aligned. It seems that I'm running an old version of my indicator, uh, which for some reason plots these levels. So I'm just going to hide it for now. And if we look right here, what do we see? Same exact thing, right? We're just taking out sell side. So at some point, I'm going to expect a retracement. Where are we going to retrace to? First, premium inefficiency. Where is that? 4 hour order block. As I said, why would you refer to the 4 hour order block? Well, my main bias is I'm going to be looking for longs. but I don't expect my day, even if it's NFP, to necessarily do 450 handles to the upside. Well, actually, I did expect it to. I expected a pretty big day, and we did so, right? We had, what was it? 250 handles, I believe we, oh no, because I'm still missing the two candles, sorry, but we already had a 270 handle range pre-market, so definitely a big day with NFP. But my objective was definitely going to be the bearish order block. Now if we get more precise by going into an intraday chart, 15-minute, I had a way better objective, right? Way more precise, which to me, as I stated in today's pre-market analysis, right? We were on call. By the way, that video is now available on YouTube, so you guys can go review that at any point. We were live on the charts for 2 hours this morning, right? But my bias was we're going to these equal highs. But we got to remember that these levels are also levels on ES. And when ES takes out these levels and NASDAQ doesn't, we now have SMT. Live in front of my charts, I failed to notice this right away, which means that I've also failed to see the opportunity. I'm not perfect. I do miss some setups. I am not able to catch them all, but we're still going to review it today. Just for the explanation, higher time frame point of interest. This is our order block in the 4-hour time frame. What do you have? SMT. My retracement objective has been met, right? Order block 4 hours. Also, to me, more specifically, it was my equal highs that I was looking for. And we retraced to a premium. And we have divergence at a key level. That key level is at my premium, right? So my premium arrays, and more specifically, equal highs, relative equal highs, which I know this is an important liquidity pool. If it forms SMT at this level, then that is an area of interest. So truth is, I was looking for longs, but your long was invalidated from the point we formed this structure at this point. So from that point on, you should have been looking for shorts. As I said, I was a bit slow to that. I'm going to remove the replay mode and pop up the sessions. Basically, I have it on a different pane below, and you can see everything right here. On ES, basically, I framed this SMT lower, right? I'm just going to mark it out correctly. I framed this SMT lower as a potential low of day. So from our pre-market analysis, I was looking at this to be the potential low of day with London forming a London framework, which means I would be looking to target London highs. And of course, with NFP pre-market, we hit it right at the NFP mark, right? 830. We had NFP, by the way. I don't think it's kind of weird for me because I was live this morning and I'm trying to remember what I said this morning and what I didn't say. But truth is, this video should be complete, so I should not be worrying about that. Potential low of day. NFP first started by going down, which was great for me, and then distribution higher is what I was looking for. But we'll get a clear picture once we dive down specifically to the 1-minute chart and look at the open, right, and the news. So I stated this morning that I'm working on a new framework around news and how more specifically certain news, so very specific news, I expect them to make a fair value gap. If they don't make a fair value gap, you can see a raid. I have multiple different examples of this that I would love to show at some point, right, for sure. But August 4th, I believe. I actually don't want to just tell you guys that, so give me a second and I'm actually going to get the date. I just opened on the perfect document. August 14th specifically. If you look at August 14th, we had CPI news. And here, let me bring the image because I know you guys can't see right now. So if we look just very quickly, we had the same thing. CPI, I expected to make a fair value gap. We did not. So what am I going to look for? A raid. So I need one of these sides to be taken out to then target the other side. This is from my backtesting document, by the way. So definitely a framework I'm working on. I'm going to get some more data, some more precise frameworks around it. So for now, I don't want to speak too much about it, but we did take out data highs, consolidated, formed a fractal of AMD, right? Accumulation, let me just mark this out correctly. Accumulation, manipulation, started distributing. This was confirmed more specifically by the SMT at a key point in time. So we have 930 right here. And as you can see, there is SMT with the next swing point right here. I'm just going to put it as a different color so it's a little easier to visualize next to this red line, which showcases the higher time frame SMT, which was confirmed, of course, at this swing point. This was the first one. I'm going to concentrate on the second. From this point on, there is higher time frame SMT. There is also local SMT, right? Short term. And this hence means that once we break down, basically we already have a breaker. The truth is, there's your breaker for your unicorn. Very specifically giving you a 935 entry. This fair value gap is a little hard to see, so I'm just going to draw it out so it's easier to visualize. Very small fair value gap right here. If we look at the range, I'm looking at the numbers to the right, 28.25, 1928.25, and 27.75. So we have a 2-tick fair value gap. Does the size of my gap matter? Not at all. And if you look to the left, you also had a little larger of a inversion fair value gap at this point. But then you may ask me, okay, well, why aren't you entering straight at 930? Because we already have a breaker block, right? Right here, we swept, and then we traded below. You already have a breaker block retracing into a unicorn. But as I've stated multiple times before, I never enter straight at 930 because I expect a Judas swing. I expect to move in the opposite direction at that time. So I'm going to wait for that move to give me my entry. Now we retraced into a balanced price range right here, which is not important for you to know, but it's nice to just note it right now mentally, right? Then confirmed with lower time frame SMT at the same time that we were trading back into a following unicorn. Beautiful, beautiful setup. If we look at the entry, you would have had a stop loss utilizing the 3PD array rule. So first off is your entry fair value gap. Then you have an inversion fair value gap to the left. And if I see correctly, the next one is this order block that we just formed, which would place your stop at 39.5 handles. And if we look, you definitely had the entry, right? That was the entry. It was beautiful. And if we look at the deviations of the breaker just very quickly to establish some high probability objectives, you can see that they pretty much align with what is going on, because you would use this current range. And in this case of NFP that I'm looking for a reversal, I'm going to concentrate on the fact that, well, I'm going to utilize data lows as my anchor point, let's just call it that, for my range. You can see you have a very nice partial at the first liquidity and discount, whether that's internal or external range liquidity. That would give you 2R. Beautiful. So 2R to your first partial objective, followed by your target, which gives you 5.26R. And then at this point, you could just have a runner that you held on throughout the whole day to give you a total possible R, right? Because this is absolute low of day. Let's just always like to look at 16 and look at the opening price. So I'm going to look at that opening price, and it is, I'm going to look at the top left. So at 4, if I had a rule that I had to close my trade at 4, and I'm never going to look at the close, I'm going to look at the open of the candle more specifically. Open is 18458.5. So let's just put it approximately. So 458.5, let's just call it, I can't give myself a tick. Here, I'll take out a few ticks. You had almost 12R possible return out of, what is that, 467 handle move. It's a pretty big move. So definitely a lot of movement, a lot of objectives to the right, all very clear. If you'll see those 4 standard deviations align beautifully with the current low of day at this point, which was my original idea to go long. But you didn't have a Rise model long setup. I personally did take a long, right? I tried to long this move and was looking for the inversion of this gap. As I said, all of this is available on YouTube, right? We were all live this morning. But following this point, well, without invalidating this inversion fair value gap, you never had a possibility to go long. You never had a bullish unicorn that formed that would have allowed you to go long. So no matter, well, I'm talking early onset, of course. Right after 11, I stopped looking when we had an open high with I believe it was Fed. One of the FOMC members was speaking. Nat Powell, I believe it was something Waller, if I'm not mistaken. But we had an open high, and that closed the day for me. Once we started trading back into it, that told me that we were going to continue to be bearish, and we did, just with very high resistance throughout lunch and throughout the beginning of the PM session, all the way up until we finally declined to a weekly close. So definitely very big day if you look at the daily candle, with, in my eyes, only one opportunity. Yes, you can look at possible continuations, but the truth is that the only true continuation that would be allowed from my model is at this point, right? When we form a new breaker block, and at this point, your trade is extremely low probability, has already hit your objective right by low of day, so it could just sweep this and reverse completely, especially with time taken into account that we are so close to 10:30, 10 a.m. opened high, but you could flip that very easily, frame this as accumulation. Very low probability continuations. So to me, the first option is the only option. Sorry, I'm just spamming undo to see if it can possibly readjust my trade. Thank you. Please put it at low hanging fruit. Awesome. So definitely beautiful setup, beautiful framework, and beautiful delivery, which took me a little while to get convinced. If you guys want the details, I was looking very specifically at this 15-minute fair value gap. This was my invalidation point for bearish, for bullish ideas, and the exact same thing for basically it was my flip. So if we invalidated this 15-minute array, I was going to start looking for shorts. And if you look very specifically, we traded down into it, traded a little up. This move actually did not close below this fair value gap, so this did not invalidate it, but this 9:45 to 10 a.m. candle invalidated it, and then we just started dropping aggressively. So you have your invalidation levels. Even when you're offside, you can still make money. You guys saw I had a very good day today, and truth is, at the open, I wanted to see longs. And, well, I mean, my bias was on point. I was looking specifically for the equal highs above, and that exact level formed the high of day on ES. So my only problem was that it took me like 3 or 4 minutes to notice the SMT, which then meant that I missed out on this very beautiful short opportunity. Yeah, Magic, you can't be stuck to an idea in these markets, especially these past few weeks, right? And well, these past 2 months now, because it is very volatile, it is very aggressive. And the truth is, the market doesn't give a fuck about you. Doesn't give a fuck about what you want. So yes, I come into a day looking for longs. And truth is, my move happened. I had my long opportunity, just not during the time session I'm looking for. The exact NFP delivery was what I was looking for. It reached my low-hanging fruit objective, right? My retracement objective, and of course talking higher time frame now. And at this point, it decided to reverse. My whole model is framed around this is your low-hanging fruit. No matter if you're right or wrong, it is going to reach this level, right? Because this is my retracement objective. And if I'm right, and this is not a retracement to the upside, it is actually an expansion, right? You could say this is not a manipulation, this is a distribution to the upside. Then my real objective is at the external of this range, right? Which in this case aligned with previous day high. But you can't always have that perfect the framework. All your trades are 100% right. But I can still make 3, 4, 5R to my low-hanging fruit objective, and then only leave a runner to my real bias objective, if I can say it like that. So definitely my whole model is framed around this. My whole understanding of the markets is framed around this, based on high consistency levels. And as you can tell, my 15-minute array that aligned was the first discount in efficiency. So even if I'm wrong on this short, it's at least going to go there. So that's my whole idea. That's my whole thought process with everything. So even if you're looking for longs, you got to understand that sometimes, well, today we just didn't have to. But for example, I went long during this leg, and truth is, the confirmation was us invalidating this array. If we don't invalidate this array, then I'm out. I entered somewhere around here. I don't want to go to the 30 seconds and miss out my format, but I have a 30-second inverted fair value gap someplace here, or maybe a 15 actually. I don't remember what my trade of 8 was on, but inversion right here, very aggressive scalp. Took one contract off here, saw that we didn't inverse it there, so I just broke even my trade. Still managed to get some profit out of that. And that's a very extreme example, right? This was just hyper scalping because I wanted to have the scratch day pretty much. I needed to count it as a trading day. And then I had some nice opportunities along the way. Do you guys have any questions about the day? I know it was pretty straightforward, right? Because we just went down the whole day. So there's not much to analyze there other than the reason why, right? Because today was actually exceptional delivery. It was just unexpected to me because I wanted to see the expansion go higher. And if we just take a second and look at the weekly chart, we just inverse this huge weekly fair value gap that we formed. So very, very special, if I can say it like that. And it is definitely going to affect the next few weeks with our, well, we have September opening low, but that's more than just an open low. But see, that's exactly what I said for August, right? If we look at August right here, this movement to the downside, right? These, what is that? These 1,000 handles to the downside are what formed the low of the month. But with now invalidating this weekly fair value gap, I don't see how we could still go up, especially after a 1,400 almost handle range. If you missed the first or second entry, was any other way to take part of the move? Okay, so here's the thing. With hindsight, of course, right? Let's look at a 15-minute chart. Or, no, actually, let's go back. If I didn't enter here, can I enter here? Sure. If I didn't enter here, can I enter here? Sure. Can I enter here? Sure. Can I enter here? Sure. How do you know that? With hindsight. Because of course I see the full day going all straight down, super trending day, barely had an opportunity for a retracement. So of course you had plenty of opportunity on this day. But truth is, most of the days you won't. Most of the days where you miss this first entry, you're going to enter on that second one and it's going to fuck you up. That is my mentality and my approach. If I miss the first entry and then I'm here and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't see that unicorn. Oh, that was so beautiful. Oh, and in a premium and SMT and 4-hour order. Oh, that's my model. I missed it. I don't care. But more importantly, I don't look for anything else unless it is valid. Now that takes a lot of practice, a lot of experience. I don't know what's your level, Magic. I'm actually going to look at your experience. All right, so you've been in the markets for a while, so you understand this point. It takes a lot of fucking, sorry for my words, but it takes a lot of mental strength to be able to look at a chart, miss an entry, so you're pissed right now on the inside. And as I always say, you can't control your emotions, you can control your reaction to your emotions, right? So you're very mad at the moment. You're just like, oh, what a beautiful fucking trade. And especially at the end of the day, looking back, you're like, oh, wow, it was so beautiful. Cool. But then you're just like FOMOing in the next trade. How do you know if this next trade is actually still a good entry and not just you really wanting to get back in the trade because you missed the first entry? So my rules are very simple, right? For beginners and for students and whatever, I say you missed the first entry, you don't have a trade. And actually, I say this just for students, but truth is, on 95% of the days, that's what I do. 95% of the days, I miss the first entry, I'm out. I missed the move. Let's see if there's another opportunity later for a completely different trade idea, right? My trade idea for this, the framework, would have been from this high to this low. This is my trade idea. This is the move that I am predicting that I want to be trading. This is a valid entry. This is too deep in our range. Very specific rule. Premium and discount. But this is a little weird. But truth is, I want you to draw an implied dealing range, which means this is from the high of your framework. So as I just explained, your framework is the move you're calling, right? The move you're predicting, all the way to your objective, right? Your draw on liquidity. What is the most simple rule? This is the middle. Above this midline, I am looking for shorts. This is where my highest probability trades will happen. Under this midline, I am looking to take profit. This is some logic that ICT shared specifically in a Twitter space, the same Twitter space where he shared the 3PD array stop loss rule. And this is how I scale in and out of positions. So under this line, my mentality switches completely. My mentality is no longer, let's add more money in this trade. This is a great idea. My mentality is now, let's take money out of this trade. This could now reverse. And if you truly take the time to study these levels, you'd be extremely surprised at how we interact with quarters just in general, right? See what we did. We respected this level, which meant we went higher above here, respecting this inefficiency, closing back under it, changing the state of delivery, close back under it, expect a continuation, retracement, continuation. Your highest probability objectives were above this 0.5 line. Entry here, turtle soup here. Sorry, I'm forgetting the word. Balanced price range here. Order block, retracement with the fair value gap. That's your unicorn here. Then right here, you had also possible things that I'm just not going to consider because that's not my model. Are there some good trade opportunities in this leg? There are hundreds, but they're not my model. So I don't want to speak on them because I don't have data to back what I'm going to say if I'm not talking about my model. I know that how I trade, the moves, as I just explained, right? The frameworks that I trade, the highest probability entry on those frameworks is the unicorn at all times. This means the entry that is going to win more often than it's going to lose. It is that brain dead simple. It is all about data, proven by you, of course, through backtesting, but I've now leveled up to proven by years and years of automatic analysis on the markets through financial analysis scripts. So definitely a little level up there. I kind of went deep on your question, just making sure you understood what I meant and that you don't have any additional questions with this. Basically, was I clear with how I interact with first entry, second entry? By the way, guys, at any point that I'm sharing stuff here, I'm not giving you a recommendation. I want to make that clear. I'm sharing my path and my journey with you. My opinion here does not matter. I'm still going to give you my opinion here because truth is, if you're currently in this Discord that is still very small, it's that you got attracted by what I was doing or what Emil was doing, right? It attracted you or whatever it is, right? Whether it's the data that we share or the clips that we did, or on Twitter you saw a nice post about whatever, right? About a nice trade or psychology post, whatever it is, the reason why you're here. And so I am going to share my opinion. That is just the truth of the matter. But I don't say it for you guys to follow. I say it because that's how I interact with price. Now, there are multiple different ways to interact with the charts and to trade these charts and to think to be a profitable trader. Truth is, you don't need to trade ICT to be profitable. You don't need to trade this to be profitable. You don't need to trade only at these times. There are some people in here, like I'm thinking specifically about Bulletproof at this point, and Bottom Frag, sorry. I always mistake them because they have the same profile picture. But Bottom Frag, who only trades Asia these days. And he's making money there. And to me, Asia is the worst session to be trading. But he's making money, so who am I to talk? Right? Truth is, if you need help, I will be willing to provide it and I will give you my insight. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder that these are my opinions and that I am not the only valid source of information, right? And thank you, Magic. Appreciate the kind words. Before we close this out and go enjoy the rest of your Fridays, I don't know what times it is for you. Guys, do we have any last questions? Any final questions to close this out? I am not seeing anyone type, so I'm going to take that as a no. Appreciate you guys being here, even on this Friday night. It is awesome to see you all. Good luck with your grinding this weekend, which I hope you will do. And good luck. We'll see each other on Sunday for our customary weekly outlook. We'll see if the times have changed. Remember to vote in announcements for if you want to see a time change for these events. Have a great weekend, guys, and have a great rest of your night.